That was pretty good, I have to say. Well, we're equally distant from Calgary and Edmonton, right in the heart of central Alberta. We're a growing city. So we just finished a federal census a few months ago, and it put our population at just over 116,000 people, which was great. You know, we have a few other cities that pretend that they are the third largest city in Alberta, and I'm speaking to my friends in Lethbridge now.
And more people are coming to Red Deer these days. I believe you have the good polytechnic institution here. More and more international students coming to Red Deer, and has a good employment opportunities here.
You mentioned trades, you mentioned construction, and so on. Those are two very quickly growing areas. Our housing starts had a record year last year. Our development permits, building permits, those kinds of things had a record year.
I'm your host Mandeep Puri, presenting you today the mayor of the city of Red Deer. Welcome, John. How are you doing today?
A privilege that you should be with us today in Red Deer. Always a privilege to promote the city and to be with you. So
absolutely, thank you very much. You to invite us here, the City Council hall, and talking to us today. Can please tell us about the city of Red Deer, like the location and the business promising city, and that's the fastest growing city here in Canada.
Well, thank you for that. I don't really know how I can add to that. That was pretty good, I have to say. Well, we're equally distant from Calgary and Edmonton, right in the heart of central Alberta. We're a growing city, a very friendly city, certainly a very culturally, socially, and business-friendly city. We're diverse. We're ethnically diverse, culturally diverse, strong business ethic, strong educational systems, and so on. We're excited to be a part of a great province of Alberta, and we certainly let people know that when they come to Red Deer, they can experience the very best that Alberta has to offer.
So how old is Red Deer, and what's the population now?
Well, Red Deer was founded in 1913, and it's curious that you asked me that question. When I was running in 2013, it was our 100th anniversary, so I always remembered 1913, 2013, and so on, you know. So we just finished a federal census a few months ago, and it put our population at just over 116,000 people, which was great. You know, we have a few other cities that pretend that they are the third largest city in Alberta, and I'm speaking to my friends in Lethbridge now. But we are and remain Alberta's third largest.
That's very wonderful, and that's very promising. Indeed. And more people are coming to Red Deer these days. I believe you have the good polytechnic institution here. More and more international students coming to Red Deer, and has a good employment opportunities here. Any specific sector you have, like the business, the agri, like most of the cities are oil producing here in Alberta. You in any specific sector that is growing, and you can invite people all around the Canada. They can come here and set up their businesses, like in construction, in the skilled trades or something.
You know, that's a great question. You mentioned RDP off the top in your remarks. So there's a student population and academic population there now of over 11,000 people at RDP. A lot of people don't know that in a city our size, don't realize RDP is such a magnificent organization. You mentioned trades, you mentioned construction, and so on. Those are two very quickly growing areas. Our housing starts had a record year last year. Our development permits, building permits, those kinds of things had a record year. The fastest growing sector, and I sound like I know way too much on this topic, but it's only because I had a meeting this afternoon with our economic development department. The fastest growing sector in the city is retail at this point in time. Healthcare, healthcare services from a retail perspective, growing quickly. And that's not surprising because 5-6 years from now, I would say at most 7, we have a major expansion of the Red Deer Regional Hospital. That's a $2 billion investment by the province of Alberta in our city. So you can imagine how many tradespeople we'll need, how many professionals we will need, how many support staff we will need, nurses, physiotherapists, those kinds of things, and so on. So the future is quite bright in Red Deer.
Absolutely. That's why people are coming and attracting towards
No,
Red Deer
no,
these days.
no question about it. And we're building the social infrastructure that people are looking for, places of worship, educational centers, those kinds of things, athletics. We talked a little bit about that earlier. So the opportunities are there, particularly, in the Southeast Asian population. If people are looking for that connection, Red Deer's becoming more and more mature that way, I would think. So the opportunities are great.
Absolutely, that has a location's advantage as well as that's in between the Edmonton and the Calgary, and whosoever wants to get out of the big city, the big metropolitan area.
Correct.
Yeah, so
we did a survey last year. It wasn't done by the city, but Royal LePage nationally did a survey. We were the 3rd most affordable city in all of Canada. All of Canada.
Okay.
So that's an important piece of information for your audience or the community itself, and so on. Our rents are cheaper. The average house prices are cheaper, and you're literally 5 minutes, 7 minutes away from any part of the city. Try doing that in Calgary or Edmonton.
If you really want to avoid the commuting time, you don't want to waste your time in the traffic.
You don't, for sure. It's kind of funny. You can turn the news on at 8 o'clock. In Calgary, the news is still on at 9 o'clock, and you're still trying to get to work.
Yeah.
In Red Deer, it's 8:07 by the time you hit the door. So it's quite an advantage.
Okay, that's really wonderful. And what actually makes Red Deer more attractive as compared to the other smaller city here in at Alberta only? If you're talking about the Lethbridge and the other is Lloydminster, definitely the size is quite similar, or that's nearby.
Yeah, as you say, Lethbridge and Red Deer are virtually within a couple thousand people of each other. We, however, are on the upper side of that. But you mentioned what makes Red Deer so attractive, and I think people are looking for that lifestyle that they can enjoy. That's not as hurried, not as frantic. As a typical city. You can get the best of healthcare, the best of education, the best of business opportunities here. There's plenty of land to develop, lots of infill to develop as well. So I think, typically, I'm an example of it. I came to Red Deer in 1996, had lots of opportunity to leave, 29 years ago. I had lots of opportunity to leave Red Deer, but once I got here and saw what the city had to offer, and not only what I would say the infrastructure offering I talked about, but the people offering. There's a certain mindset when you live in a city of this size that you tend to be far more social. The pace isn't so that you don't know your neighbor and that kind of thing. And we really enjoy that lifestyle in Red Deer.
Absolutely. And anything specific for the South Asian community, because most of the viewers from the South Asian community and the Punjabi background. Do you have anything specific for them, like to attract them here for the businesses, for the development?
Absolutely.
There's so many people actually want to relocate, if they are in Ontario, in the BC, and they want to come to Alberta, and they only have the Edmonton and the Calgary in their tour guide, but not the smaller cities like Red Deer. The advantages Red Deer has.
Yes. Well, we've certainly talked about a few of them, but I would say right now, first of all, I'd like to thank all of the Southeast Asian community that has come to Red Deer already and has built Red Deer already, and so on. And of course, we talked about the exciting opportunity now with Safarish coming in and building capacity in that community. So I want to say thank you, first of all, for that. But many of the things we've already talked about is really the attitude now where Red Deer is building around the cultural side of communities. So we have more places of worship. Again, I'll say educational systems, business systems, those kinds of things. Things that people, when they come to Red Deer, they can feel far more at home than they did 20, 30, 40 years ago.
True.
We're maturing that way as a city, and that's really what's attracting people. When you think of the growth that we'll experience over the next 5 or 10 years, we're going to need the Southeast Asian community to come and help lift us and be a part of the excitement. And that certainly would be my invitation.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time, and hopeful to look forward to talking to you again and working in collaboration with the City of Red Deer and Prime Minister Television.
It was a pleasure today, and thanks for coming to Red Deer again.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time. ਸੋ ਇਹ ਸਨ ਕੈਨ ਜੌਨਸਟਨ, ਮੇਅਰ ਰੈੱਡ ਡੇਅਰ ਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ, ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ। ਸਾਊਥ ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨਸ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਵਾਈਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ ਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਰੈੱਡ ਡੇਅਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਐਡਮਿੰਟਨ ਐਂਡ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ ਦੇ ਇਨ ਬਿਟਵੀਨ ਸਿਟੀ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਅਗਰ ਐਡਮਿੰਟਨ ਤੋਂ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ 1 ਘੰਟੇ ਦੇ ਡਿਸਟੈਂਸ ਤੇ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਐਡਮਿੰਟਨ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਹੈ। ਇਨ ਬਿਟਵੀਨ ਸਿਟੀ ਹੈ, ਦੈਟਸ ਗਰੋਇੰਗ ਫਾਸਟੈਸਟ ਗਰੋਇੰਗ ਹੈ, ਪਾਪੂਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਗਰੋ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਸਾਊਥ ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਪਾਪੂਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਗਰੋ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ। ਆਸ ਕਰਦਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਪਸੰਦ ਆਇਆ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਨਦੀਪ ਜੀ ਹੋਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਮਾਪਤ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਦਿਆਂਗਾ। ਫਿਰ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤਦ ਤੱਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਟੀਵੀ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ।